All right, welcome to another episode of the USFL Power Rankings podcast 2022 season. This is the USFL Week 4. I am NFL Outdated and
I'm Micah.
welcome this week. Week 3 was we had a lot of great action. One marquee game that really lived up to the hype, I thought, and it didn't, come out how I thought it was going to. But a lot of great games, a lot of exciting action so far.
Yep.
So what we can do, let's get right into the Week 4 USFL Power Rankings. All right, here we go. So who do you have at the bottom this week?
I think this doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. I have number 8, the Pittsburgh Maulers, last time's ranking, 7th.
Yeah, I mean, they moved to 0-3. Total points scored only 26, 0 points against the Michigan Panthers. And, that defense really, showed up. But you would think an offense would actually, generate something.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. I mean, this is the lowest they've scored. I think the Panthers have a sneaky good defense. I'd say they had a horrible defense, but then I actually think they held the Generals to 10 points. They held the Gamblers' high-powered offense to 17, which is pretty good, and they hold the Maulers to 0 points, which I honestly think that the Panthers could be a good team, but the Maulers need to work on that. I think the Maulers could be bottom feeders. I think if they lose, I mean, this might be a little early, but if they lose, I think 3 more games, I think they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, to, I mean, 0-3 here with 10 games. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but they only have one way to go.
Yep.
All right, so who do you have right above them at 7 this week?
Number 7, Houston Gamblers. Last week's ranking, 3rd.
Yeah, they took a big tumble here, huh?
Yeah, they went down 4 slots just because they have 71 total points scored. That's the second most in the league, only second to the Stallions. But they have a great offense, just a horrible defense. They've allowed 72 total points to be scored. That might be the most in the league. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that is the most total points allowed.
Well, when you look at it, obviously, they who they're facing, they lost to Birmingham Stallions in week 2, so that was tough. Week 3 they turn around and lose to the Bandits. It was a close game, right? It was a really close game, but
Yeah.
so they were in it. They have a lot more potential than the Maulers, right?
Oh yeah, but I just think that they blew a giant lead. They were up by 2 scores early, and then, man, you're not very happy about that, are you?
I am not. Gamblers are a team that I like because of my guy Ace, who covers the Gamblers. But yeah, we'll see how they go. All right, so who do you have at number 6 this week?
Number 6, Michigan Panthers. Last week's ranking, 8.
Yeah, so they really turned it around this week.
Okay, we're gonna talk about mainly. So we interviewed
Chase Demore.
Yeah, Chase Demore. I forgot his name, but and I think he predicted they were gonna win 24-0, and well, he wasn't wrong. They have not had a great offense, but they're 1-2, and they have 42 total points scored. First shutout in the season. Reggie Corbin had 133 rushing yards, and
1 TD.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Stevie Scott III and Paxton Lynch each had a rushing TD. And I want to get back to the first shutout. This is actually not just their first shutout, but it's the first shutout for the whole league this season. So they really came in and brought it defensive wise. Once again, shout out and thanks to Chase Demore for talking to us during one of the games, and just a great guy. And Michigan Panthers really kind of rooting for them to do well.
Yep. And number 5, Philadelphia Stars. Last week's ranking, number 5. Yeah, even though they lost their game, I don't put them falling down because their quarterback got hurt. But this week, I don't expect them to win. I really don't. I expect them to fall to 6.
Yeah, and a big part of that is because of the injury to their quarterback, so Brian Scott, one of the quarterbacks that I've really liked this season, he gets hurt. He's put it out on social media that he's hoping to be back He really wants to, but they're going to have their backup. I believe is Case Cook is now in line to start.
Yep.
So it's going to be a tall order. I kind of started to like the Stars as well. So it's really a bummer when a player like that gets hurt.
Yeah. Number 4, Tampa Bay Bandits. Last week's ranking, 4. Stunning comeback win, which was kind of crazy, but I just can't move them up because the 3 teams in front of them are just that much better. Like we got 47 points scored. They're down. Yeah, they had 13 seconds at a comeback win. Their kicker won the game.
46-yard field goal to win. Yeah, it's pretty clutch right there. I mean, that's what you want from a team that's going to be in the hunt. So they're staying right around there. I mean, 4 is a good place to be.
Yep.
And I definitely think with their quarterback Jordan Ta'amu, he looked really good right away from the start with that 64-yard touchdown pass to Derek Dillon, and I thought they were off to the races. Although it went back and forth.
Yeah, the top 4 teams make the playoffs, I believe, and it's 2v2, 2v2, and then the championship. Honestly, yeah, I think that they can be good. Yeah, Jordan Ta'amu, and Derek Dillon, they could be good. And sorry if I pronounced Ta'amu wrong, but yeah, that will bring us to our next one. Number 3, New Jersey Generals. Last time's ranking, 6.
Yeah, this has kind of been a sneaky team. I haven't really known much about, and so they're really kind of sneak back in there. And a big part of it was a comeback win. I mean, they got 14 fourth quarter points to complete the comeback there.
Yep. Darius Victor scored. DeAndre Johnson scored, and Trey Williams went off for 110 yards. I feel like they're pretty good.
Yeah, and when you look at them, they maybe don't have quite what the top 2 teams have, but I mean, we'll really kind of see as the season goes along. They're really kind of starting to gel, and I think that's important for an offense. And then also to have that comeback to say, yes, we can do it when we're down. We can make the comeback and complete the comeback, and so that was good to see with the Generals.
Yep, and that brings us to our next team, number 2. New Orleans Breakers. Last week's ranking, number 1. My New Orleans Breakers unfortunately lost, which to the Stallions. I was sad, but I think that they have solid special teams and defense, but it just wasn't enough. Kyle Sloter struggled against the Stallions. Stallions are clutch defense.
Yeah, it was a really back and forth game. You never knew who was going to come out. I mean, Breakers defense just looked amazing, but it just at times, but then it just wasn't enough. And when you're facing a team like the Stallions, you really need to be firing on all cylinders. And Kyle Slaughter struggled a little bit, and he had some good moments, but he didn't do as well as he could have.
Yeah, and that'll bring. And I think that if you want to be successful, you have to be pulling out those tough ones. You have to win those games. That'll bring us to our next one. Number 1, Birmingham Stallions. Last week's ranking, number 2.
Yeah, I mean, now they're the only 3-0 team. They really proved that they could win in so many different ways. They're offensively, they've really been dominant in pass games with Jamar Smith. But really, he didn't have the game that you want to have from like the best quarterback in the league, but he really gritted things out. 197 passing yards, 2 TDs, and so that was good. But really, the defense stepped up.
Yeah, but I think that this Birmingham team, they have the best offense, but then their defense won them the game. They have clutch defense. Scooby Wright, he had 17 tackles. DeAndre Tillman 2 sacks.
Yeah, those were really clutch. I mean, when you look at a team, a complete team, you want that offense to be there. But, if they're struggling, that defense really has to take over. And it looks like Birmingham is starting to put it together. We'll see kind of, going into, week 4, how that'll go as well.
Yeah. So that'll wrap up the Birmingham Stallions. But another thing that they changed, if you guys have noticed that some games have just gotten so long and at times boring, well, this new week 4 rule change, Yeah, to try to keep games under 3 hours during the first quarter and the third quarter, the league is moving to a running clock after an incomplete pass. Not a big change, but it will definitely help. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think it's really important. I like what the USFL has done, all these different changes, rule changes, and being able to kind of look at things and not being set in their ways. And I think that's going to be important for this league as they get going, is trying these new things and not only to keep the fans' attention because they really want to do that, but also just to bring some excitement to this game. A little bit different, but it still is really solid football.
Yep. So that we'll talk about the week 4 matchups. So the first matchup, yeah, we got the Panthers and the Stars. So for that matchup, what's your prediction?
So this is going to be, obviously the Panthers are favored by a point and a half. This is going to change, I think, because of the quarterback injury with the Stars, and I just don't see the Stars doing much.
No, yeah,
against that Panthers defense.
Yeah, I'm picking the Panthers. We'll say okay. This might be a little much, but I'm going to say 27-6, 27-6, 20. Yep,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And so then going on to the next matchup, the Generals versus Maulers. This will be a really interesting one too. It's interesting how the Generals are favored big time in this one. The Maulers just haven't gotten anything going. So
yep.
If they're gonna, climb out of the cellar or even get a win, at all this season, they got to really start doing some positive things. And they have an opportunity this week versus the Generals.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win this game. My prediction is the Generals win this game. We'll say 16-10. I'll give them all some points.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so when you look at the that game, that would be an interesting score. So yeah, the next one we have the Bandits versus the Stallions.
Okay, for that matchup, I know I might have said earlier that the Stallions are winning this, but I really think my prediction is 24-23. Bandits are going to pull this one out.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I know we talked to Chase Demore, and he said that he wanted his team to be the first team to beat the Stallions. But if any team has a chance, it is the Bandits this week, especially after such a big matchup last week. There may be a little bit of a letdown from the Stallions this week.
Yeah, that's my prediction, and that brings us to our final matchup: the Gamblers and the Breakers.
Yep. So the Sunday matchup, and when you look at it, obviously, the Gamblers need this win, but the Breakers are a tough team.
Oh, yeah. I'm already coming out with my prediction, 24-14.
And the Breakers, the Breakers.
Yeah, Breakers.
Yeah, the defense, and I think, I think the Breakers offense will rebound in this game as well.
Yeah.
So when you look at this season so far, we've got 4 weeks in. We've got a lot of great games. How are you feeling about the USFL as a whole so far?
I really like it. But if I was looking at the thing right now, if the playoffs started as right now, the matchups would be Generals Breakers, Stallions Bandits, and the winners of those two would play each other for the championship. I expect that to change. I know this is a little early, but what are our playoff predictions? What do we think? Who are the 4 teams in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't really see anything changing from those 4 teams. I mean, the Stars being kind of right there as well, but I mean, they're really going to hurt without that. I mean, the key will be the Panthers kind of sneaking into that spot.
Oh, yeah, my prediction is we're going to nothing's changing except the Bandits are going to slip out and it's going to be the Panthers in there instead.
Tell you what, I'm really excited for the playoffs when they come, with them being in Canton, Ohio. I think that's a perfect, venue for them at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yep. And with that, that wrap us up. I am Micah, and this is
NFL Outdated. Thanks again for joining us.